just wonder, touch the silence as you roam, princess of the celestial home. Travel fast, travel far. Run, daughter, run. Show the others what you are. Can you hear the words calling, calling to the sweetness of your heart? Be the song. Listen to the words calling, calling for the wildness of your righteous travel fast, travel far. Run, daughter, run. Show the others what you are. Be the colors of reflected light. Embrace the void, there is no night. Run to the land of the midnight sun. Can you hear the words calling to the sweetness of your heart? Be the song. Listen to the words for the wildness of your
Beautiful number there by Cecilia, entitled "The Run, Daughter, Run." I play it on special occasions that have to do with my children, or in this instance, my grandchildren. My second granddaughter was born to us on Wednesday last week, healthy as can be. We're so pleased, we're so thrilled, cute as a button. And her name is Alessandra Elizabeth Todorova. Welcome to the world, my precious grandchild. Welcome to the world. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to you to our program, The Inner Voice. You are, of course, tuned to 1422 medium wave. This is the new Pan-Hellenic voice. I am Dr. Gabrielides. I'll be with you till 1 o'clock. And tonight I am going to finish off the 7 steps to self-love that I began last week. I covered 5. I have 2 to go. And then I want to get into another very fascinating subject this afternoon rather than tonight. I'm used to saying that from my evening program tomorrow night. The other topic that I want to cover I've entitled "Staying Connected to Our Source." So stay tuned, my friends. You will not want to miss these 2 topics that I worked hard to bring you this morning, while I greet my fellow Greek listeners, and I'll be back with you in just a sec. Καλησπέρα σας κυρίες και κύριοι, φίλες και φίλοι. Είσαστε όπως ξέρετε συντονισμένοι στα 1422 μεσαία κύματα της νέας πανελλήνιας φωνής μας με την εκπομπή μας Εσωτερική Φωνή. Μαζί σας ο Δόκτωρ Παναγιώτης Γαβριλίδης μέχρι τις 1 η ώρα. Μείνετε συντονισμένοι μαζί μας και εύχομαι να αναπαύσουμε λίγο και να χαμογελάσουμε λίγο σήμερα, να θυμηθούμε κάτι καλό. Alright. As I mentioned last week, my friends, nothing happens without authentic love, not the romantic, mushy kind of love. I'm talking about the love that makes the universe go round. And it all begins with self-love, related to our self-worth, our self-value, and our self-esteem. All right, then. Last week I covered the principles, 5 principles of self-love, and today I want to finish with the last 2 quickly before we start on the next topic. So the next principle, the principle number 6 that we have to keep in mind when talking about self-love, when being on the path to self-esteem, to self-appreciation, as a tool to get things done, my friends. This is not hairy-fairy stuff, but it is a tool rather to get things done. So this principle is one that we truly have to experience in the form of surrender, and then and only then will we experience true power and control, true control over our lives. So, in a sense, in surrendering, we take control. Paradox. This principle of surrender allows us to fully experience the physical plane that we call the earth experience, as well as the truth, the love, the beauty of the other planes. As you can see, surrender contains a paradox calling upon us to experience surrender while simultaneously or at the same time experiencing personal power. So we need to be able to hold this contradiction at one and the same time in order to be in control of our lives. We need to do it simultaneously. In surrender, we find power, we find control in authentic surrender. Now, in one sense, surrender means no longer resisting the events and experiences of life on earth. But surrender does not mean giving up. That's not at all what I'm talking about. Anything but giving up. You see, therein is the paradox. So I'm not saying we should give up, but we should embrace essence-directed lessons and opportunities. In other words, we should surrender the inevitable, what we cannot change at the moment, and embrace our true goals, even though they may be paradoxical. And so we need to embrace these essence lessons, the core lessons and opportunities that come our way in life. So what I'm saying, put another way, is when we stop resisting being in a body and this life that accompanies that body, then we begin to rapidly accelerate our spiritual growth. That is the paradox. Surrender to what we cannot change and embrace what we can. That's anything but giving up. And spiritual growth allows us to access the higher centers, higher intellectual, higher emotional, and higher moving vibrations and experiences. And as we begin to open up to these higher centers, then we begin to experience the truth, the love, the beauty of all the planes within the universe, or the Tao, as they call it in the Far East, within the universe. Okay. The other principle that I quickly want to finish off with the principles that lead to self-love. Covered the other 5 last week. I definitely don't want to bore everybody by covering them again this week. Number 7, the last one, the last principle to self-love is humility, of course. Humility. Now this step is the experience of completion after we have mastered all the other steps. The step of humility allows us to let go of attachment to that achievement, and this neutrality is expressed as humility. You see, how do we develop humility? Well, by being ordinary, by not setting ourselves up over others, by trying to melt into the background and become no one. It is so liberating, actually. You don't have this image or status quo to live up to. See if you can walk through a crowded railway station or airport or bus station or any crowd in a mall, crowded mall, without anyone looking at you. Because in the strange alignment of being somebody in your quiet feelings, in your quiet feelings, you're somebody, just like everybody is somebody. All precious divine children of the God Force, we are, in our quiet feelings, in our silence. So we strive for that in our silence, and we strive to be nobody for everyone else. In doing that, we walk away from the destiny of the world, where everyone is pushing to be heard, pushing to be someone, and in the process, stressing themselves out immensely. Stressing themselves out immensely. Think about that for a second. What price? Outward success. See, this hollow image that we want to project for the status quo. You see, that world is very dangerous, but your and my world doesn't have to be. I invite us to be like those that can walk through a wall, in a sense, without any single molecule of the wall knowing they're there. That takes a lot of practice. Not literally, please, I'm speaking in allegory here, okay? Walking through a crowded mall without anyone noticing us takes practice. Takes practice, because people walk around thinking that they are the center of the universe and everyone is looking at them. On the dance floor, everyone is looking at them. No one else at them. They're walking in a mall. Everyone is looking at them. No one else, just them. At work, everyone is looking at them. Well, heck no. Everybody's busy thinking that about themselves. They don't even notice you. You see what I'm getting at? In social situations, we don't talk about our successes, and neither should we mention our weaknesses. Oh, of course not. Instead, we talk about the sunrise, maybe, as an example, or the wind, or the way that otters sleep with one leg tied to a lump of seaweed. Get the idea. Talk about the world of the God Force, not the real estate prices in the suburbs, not what cousin so-and-so had for a drink last Wednesday. Who cares? The invitation is to never be flashy. Oh man, here I come in my flashy red Ferrari. Everybody notice me now. The invitation is, in this step to self-love, the step of humility is to be anonymous and stay to one side and say, well, please pass, go ahead. A wise teacher once said, he who walks up the middle of the road gets hit from both directions. Think about that for a moment. If you are nutty enough to walk in the middle of the road in Gauteng on any road, man, he was right. You're going to get hit from both directions. So the more you elevate yourself, the more deadly you become to others, in a sense, you see. and you open yourself up as ghoul food, to use another allegory. So whenever we fail on humility, the invitation is just reaffirm our alignment to our source. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, the next topic, and make time for the soft things of life. One of these days, I'd like to do a complete program on the soft things of life. The softness. Looking at my precious little granddaughter, you certainly don't get them softer than that. There is power in the soft things of life. In fact, therein is the only place where true power lies, because thugs who are brutal and hard, they're just waiting for the day when another thug more brutal and harder than them knocks them down. That's all. History is replete with those examples. Absolutely replete. Full of it. So the meek inherit the earth because the forces of light go naturally to softness, you see, and there they find the humility of those that have the same softness, and they protect them and lead them to safety and help them to achieve their goals. For in the end, we have to go back to a soft, caring world in order for this planet to survive. Right now, this planet is heading for an apocalypse. Wherever you look, turmoil, wars, strife, genocide. 45,000 children dying from malnourishment every single day. 130 plant and or animal species become extinct every single day. Those are amazing statistics, my friends. Horrifying. I repeat, in the end, we have to go back to a soft, caring world in order for our planet to survive. Our true inner self is still an innocent, loving being, an angel in physical form, if you will. That is who we are. Yes, you listening to me right now. And you can reclaim it now. You don't need years of practice. You can start now. You're free to be who you really are, a divine child of the universe. Go softly, my friends. Go softly. All right. Let's now look at those are the steps basically to self-love, and this last one with the invitation for us to connect to our source and to stay connected to our source ties in with my next topic with just that title, staying connected to our source. Okay. The most important thing we can do, my friends, is refuse to have any resistance to staying connected to our source. Now, what is the source? I'll get to that in a minute. Lend me your ears for a sec or two. You see, we resist being able to attract peace, all of us. Okay? That's the status quo. That's the brainwashing. We resist. All of us, you, me, all of us. We resist. There are always exceptions among us, but most of us resist being able to attract love, joy, peace in our lives. We resist being able to attract happy relationships, health, abundance into our lives, safety. We resist that, you see. That's our programming. We take on an attitude that says it can't be done. It isn't working. The economy is bringing me down. The government is bringing me down. My mother-in-law is bringing me down. My boss is bringing me down. The weather is bringing me down. etc., 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 ad infinitum. World without end. Excuses, rather, without end. Drank some of that fatless juice we call H2O, water. You see? Instead, my friends, of living with our excuses and hiding behind them, the invitation is that we should all have a sign somewhere where we can see it every single day of the week. And that sign must say, attitude is everything, so pick a good one. I repeat, attitude in South African, my American experience is still with me. So attitude, or attitude, as they say in the US, is everything. So pick a good one. Pick a good one. You may as well, because it is everything. Attitude. This practice, day in, day out, leads over the years to a very strong internal knowing. A strong internal knowing, as opposed to an internal wishing, as opposed to an internal guessing. You see? As opposed to an internal belief, even. See? A guess, a wish, a belief are all weaker than a knowing. A strong internal knowing. Then you know. And you know that you know. But if you wish, if you're guessing, if you hope, if you believe it to be so, you don't really know yet, do you? For instance, let's say we embark on a project where we need to have a very strong internal knowing, a certainty, an assurance. Let's call it thinking from the end. So we go to the end and we think backwards. This is what we do. See what it is you would like to attract into your life. Health, joy, peace, etc. Or see how you would like your business to go, your relationships to go, your career, and even your body to go in terms of overcoming addictions, maybe, health issues. And we're not only talking about addictions to narcotics, we're talking about addictions to chocolate, to sugar, to all the rubbish we ingest, pretending it is good food. See? So, all of us emanate from a source of well-being, like my little granddaughter that's just been born. Perfectly healthy, brand new, wonderful. Her mother took great pains, and her father, to be on a good nutritional program before she was even conceived, and it paid off. At the particular clinic where she was born, all the other babies were born with flus and rashes and what have you. Our baby was the only one born healthy, alive and kicking and happy. See? Health does not happen by accident, neither does illness. There is a cause for every effect. All of us emanate from a source of well-being. This is what I mean by source. Our source of well-being, that is our source. If we do not have well-being in our life, physically or emotionally, then we have to look at what kind of energies, thoughts, particularly habitual thoughts, the 65,000 thoughts every day, and we have to look at what kind of spirituality we have chosen that takes us away from our source. Now, one of the ways to get back to our source is to think from the end. Now, a bit cryptic. Let's give an example of thinking from the end to clarify the matter quickly before the break. All right. The law of flotation, ships floating, these huge cities of steel floating on the seas or on rivers, that law of flotation was not discovered by contemplating the sinking of things, my friends. See? It was discovered rather by thinking about things that float naturally. So one of the important principles we need to practice living by is the idea that we have to contemplate ourselves as already surrounded by the conditions we intend to produce. You see? If you were to invent floating ships, you would not get very far by contemplating and focusing on things that sink. The difference between highly functioning people and most of us, the people Abraham Maslow, the great psychologist, called self-actualizers, and people who live with ordinary levels of consciousness, see, the self-actualizers, the highly functioning people and ordinary people, the difference between them and us is that highly functioning people never put their intention on what they don't want. They don't think about what they don't want. They think about what they want. You see the shift in perception, the shift in focus. You see, these people know that what you think about is what expands. If you're thinking about, talking about, and spending energy on what is missing in your life, on what is wrong in your life, what you don't like, or what always has been, well, it's always been this way, I don't see how it can change, then you are going to continue to attract those things in your life. It's as simple as that. We become what we think about. We become what we think about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. We become what we think about. What are you thinking about right now? You see, highly functioning people, self-actualizing people, on the other hand, are those people who live at extraordinary levels of awareness. You see, they're awake, they're aware, and it doesn't come naturally. They train, by and large, once in 1 in 10 million people it may come naturally to, but by and large this comes by training our minds to focus on what we intend to create and what we intend to manifest, and not letting anybody change that mind. And believe me, there'll be many on your path who will laugh at you, who will snigger, who will tell you outright, you're a moron, you're an idiot, it's not going to happen. I'm sure many people walked up to the Wright brothers, who flew the first airplane that we are aware of on the planet. The Wright brothers, many people went up to them and said, you must be nuts. We'll never get this thing to fly. It's heavier than air. I can just imagine the Wright brothers heading out toward Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, about 100 years ago. I don't think Orville and Wilbur Wright said to each other, hey, this thing is heavier than air, so how will it get off the ground? That's an absolute impossibility. Let's just give it up. I don't know why we even thought about it in the first place. See? The law of flying, my friends, was not discovered by the contemplation or by focusing of things that stay on the ground. So the invitation is, we have to contemplate ourselves surrounded by the conditions that we wish to produce, and know that we can attract divine energy or our source to help us. We have to know that by practice, practice, practice. Dormant forces come alive when you put your attention on what you intend to manifest, and when you stay connected to your source of well-being, your source of kindness, and your source that excludes no one. All right, my friends, we are halfway. I will continue with this topic after this short commercial break. Stay with us here on 1422 medium wave of the new Pan-Hellenic voice. I am Dr. Gabrielides. A reminder that I do consult as a natural medicine practitioner. Those of you who wish to contact me for the nutrients or any reason, My number, I'll give it to you now, pen and paper, quick, and I'll give it again at the end of the program. My number is, my friends, 076 189 6690. I repeat, 076 189 6690. Stay with us. Θα πάμε τώρα, φίλες και φίλοι, κυρίες και κύριοι, στο συνηθισμένο μας διαφημιστικό διάλειμμα και θα είμαστε πάλι μαζί σε λίγα λεπτά εδώ στα 14-22 μεσαία κείμενα της νέας Πανελλήνιας Φωνής. Να συνεχίσουμε το πρόγραμμά μας σε εσωτερική φωνή. Ο Δόκτωρ Παναγιώτης Γαβριλίδης μαζί σας μέχρι τις 1 η ώρα. Θα σας δώσω τώρα το τηλέφωνο μου για όποιον θέλει να με συμβουλευτεί για διάφορες θεραπείες με natural medicine και θα σας ξαναδώσω το νούμερο μου πάλι στο τέλος της εκπομπής για όποιον ενδιαφέρεται. Μολύβι και χαρτί, λοιπόν, γρήγορα το νούμερο μου είναι 076 189 6690. Επαναλαμβάνω, 076 189 6690. Μείνετε μαζί μας. This is 1422 medium wave, the new Pan-Hellenic voice, our program The Inner Voice, with Dr. Gabrielides till 1 o'clock, talking this afternoon about staying connected to our source. When Saint Francis of Assisi, my friends, was looking for peace, he didn't go to his source and say, please give me some peace. I don't have any peace. I've got to have peace. What he said rather was, and I quote, make me an instrument of thy peace, end quote. Make me an instrument of thy peace. Far more effective than saying, please give me some peace, you see. Make me an instrument of your peace, of your health, of your joy, whatever it is we're looking for. Make me an instrument of your love, of your patience, of your authenticity. We don't go to the source and ask for peace. We go to the source and say, make me an instrument of your peace. That way, we walk the walk and not just talk the talk, like most of us do, you see. We got to walk the walk. Easy to talk the talk, another matter to walk the walk. So the question is, what is it that you want in life? What is it that you want in life? What would be your answer to that, my friends? Think about it for a moment. What is it you want in life? Would it surprise you to know that there is actually only one correct answer that fits everyone? It's quite a dramatic statement. There is only one correct answer that fits everyone. An answer that encompasses all that anyone may ever need in life. What is it? Go ahead, hazard a guess. What is it? What is it that you want in life? What is the one correct answer? The correct answer, my friends, the most effective answer for anyone is feeling good. Think about that. Feeling good. Why? Well, if you're feeling good, then you have all that you need at this point in time, my friends. Is that not so? Otherwise, you would not be feeling good, would you? If you're feeling good, then you have all that you need at this point in time. And not just you. Your children, your soulmate, your wife, your husband, your friend, your co-workers, your community. Otherwise you would not be feeling good. If anyone was suffering, then you would not be feeling good. You see how all-encompassing this is. If you're feeling good, you must have your health. Your bank balance must be okay. Your career must be okay. You see? Otherwise, you wouldn't be feeling good. One smart person once said, "What is the difference between good and God?" The difference between good and God. And the answer is zero. That's right. You see, when you look at the word God and how you spell God, G-O-D, and good, G-O-O-D, the only difference between them is one little zero, isn't it? Interesting way of putting it, to get the point across. So when we're saying we want to feel good, what we're really saying is that we want to feel God. No difference. We want our thoughts to be the same as the source from which we emanated, our God force. We want to have thoughts that exclude no one. On a round planet, you can't choose up sides. Who are you going to leave out? And how are you going to feel good about leaving them out? How can you feel good knowing that 45,000 children are dying from malnourishment every day? You can't. We want to have thoughts that exclude no one. Again, it all boils down to energy. Every thought we have affects everything in our body. Make no mistake, because thoughts are things. Thoughts are powerful things that emanate powerful energies, and they affect our bodies. Everything in our bodies, thoughts affect. So we need to practice, that's the invitation, we need to practice and model well-being by presenting ourselves as a high-energy person who loves what we're doing and who is thrilled to be able to offer whatever it is that you offer. Cleaning house, washing cars, making chairs, neurosurgery, whatever, and everything in between. You see, filled with this kind of energy, we cannot fail at what we do. You would stay informed about what's out there and make sure you're in tune with very high energy, not low energy. There's enough of that going around. No, you want to dissociate yourself. You want to walk away from low energy situations, and you want to snuggle up to high energy situations. When you embark on a project, the invitation is that you need to surround yourself with high energy material, high energy thoughts, and you need to constantly pull at these sources or materials. You need to look at them, read excerpts from the material, if applicable, drink in from the positive material, from the inspiring material, not ever limiting yourself, not ever, whoever you are. The amount of material available to us today is endless, in a sense, my friends, because we cannot possibly get through it in our 70-odd years. Endless. That's why it's endless. It's not really endless, but for us, it is endless, because you can't possibly get through it. The invitation is to get in tune with the people who are involved in the same kind of high energy in your field of work, in your field of art, in your project, in your community, in your family, in your circle of friends. You get the idea. You may want to listen to audio tapes or CDs that make you laugh, that inspire you, that thus bringing great energy to your world. Try to model yourself after some of the great achievers in your field. Great achievers have a way of making material come alive by their example, by their writings. They make it seem like common sense. You say, oh, yes, it makes sense. They also make it entertaining and compelling. My beloved soulmate and I were discussing a new book that I came across by a man called Humble, an American, who discovered a cure for malaria. And we had such an inspiring afternoon as I read the book aloud to her, and we discussed it, and we interspersed with our comments and observations here and there. It was hard work on my part to read it aloud, but it was so rewarding to be able to share that inspiring true story of this man. I think his first name is Jim Humble, a 64-year-old American who contracted malaria in the jungles of South America on a gold-digging expedition. And this is now not 100 years ago. This happened in 1999. An amazing story. Amazing story. Those of you who are interested, send me an email at drgabriel@telcomsa.net. I'll send you the details. Send me an email or an SMS on my number, 076-189-6690. I'll give my number again at the end. But my email, that's easier, because if you don't have email, you won't be able to read the book online. It's available free. So my email is Dr. Gabriel, you spell it out, D-O-C-T-O-R, Dr. Gabriel, G-A-B-R-I-E-L, @telcomsa.net. And I'll be happy to forward that, the address, the website address of that book for you. You will enjoy it, and you will be inspired by it. See, every technical, even technical work that is maybe filled with formulas can be valuable and important. Einstein, of course, offered us a lot of technical work on quantum physics that most of us will never understand. It eludes most of us. However, we should think about his work and study it. For example, we should look at Einstein's simple statement that the most important decision you will ever make is the decision whether you live in a friendly universe or a hostile universe. My friends, that's amazing, you see. That is hidden in amongst all his technical, non-understandable for most of us work. I repeat, I quote Einstein. He says, the most important decision you will ever make is the decision whether you live in a friendly universe or a hostile universe. To me, my friends, there alone is a life-saving philosophy. Why? Well, when we look at the news out there and all the things that are hostile out there, we have to remind ourselves that for every act of evil in the world, there are actually 1,000,000 acts of kindness. Just know that. Know that. Doesn't seem like it in Gauteng. I know. Where they've declared war on us and are killing us and raping us and pillaging us. Doesn't seem like it in Gauteng. But for every hostile act out there, there are 1,000,000 acts of kindness. That is so. So Einstein's invitation to us that the most important decision we will ever make is the decision whether we will live in a friendly universe or a hostile universe. You see, what he's saying, my friends, is that we become what we think about. So if we go around thinking, man, I'll live in Gauteng, hostile universe, see, we will attract the hostility to us. I go around every day saying, may a taxi never cross my path. That's my mantra. Okay. You see, I have to snuggle up as much as I can with my 65,000 thoughts a day, where I get to the point that most of those thoughts are, I live in a friendly universe, not a hostile one. So then you see, friendly people will be attracted to me, and friendly vibrations, and friendly situations. That's just how it works, my friends. I know there are always exceptions. I know that. I don't know why those exceptions are. One day we will know. But by and large, quantum physics has even shown us scientifically that if we believe in a friendly universe, we will live in a friendly universe. But if we go around believing we'll live in a hostile universe, then the universe will oblige us by causing us to have a hostile experience. So how do we mature into such an individual of high energy, an individual of great accomplishment? Carl Jung, in Modern Man in Search of a Soul, said that as we grow throughout our lives, we mature through developmental stages. An infant becomes a pre-toddler, then a toddler, and these stages are accompanied by things like crawling, walking, talking, getting larger, and so on. See that on the spiritual path, we go through the same thing. It takes immense practice for most of us. Some people break through in a moment. They have an epiphany in a moment, and they become a great guru in an instant. But for most, 99.99% of us, it takes years of practice through being a pre-toddler, then a toddler, then a crawler, then a walker, then a talker, then getting larger, you see, where we get to the point where we can master those 65,000 thoughts a day, where we can live, where we can believe and actually live in a friendly universe. You see, when we become adults, we're still developing. It doesn't stop there. Physically, we've stopped developing, yeah, but not mentally, not emotionally, not spiritually. Carl Jung said there are 4 archetypes adults go through, and these archetypes are reflected in the development of our life work. The first archetype is the archetype of the athlete, reflecting the time in our adult life when our primary emphasis is on our body, what a body looks like, how beautiful it is, how strong it is, and so on. We identify ourselves with our body. We are our body. But you see, growing adults next move on to what Carl Jung called the archetype of the warrior. What do warriors do? All right, my friends, we have come to the end of the road for tonight. I will finish this next week, unless the Spirit moves me to do something else next week, but I'll come back to it at some point. Okay? The 4 archetypes, and to complete today's program on staying connected to our source, and how I've already given you several examples of how this applies practically to our lives. See? It helped the Wright brothers invent the aeroplane, helped us invent ships, boats, ships. See? Einstein said, you become what you think about. In his own words, you believe you live in a friendly universe, you will live in a friendly universe. If you believe you live in a hostile universe, you see, there are practical applications. I don't just talk for the sake of talking. I don't just get on the air and say pretty platitudes. I try to make it practical. I hope it's been beneficial to you. All right, my friends. Tune in again. I invite you next Monday at high noon, 12 o'clock, right here on 1422 medium wave of the new Pan-Hellenic Voice. A reminder that I do consult as a natural medicine practitioner. Those of you who do wish to consult me or send me a note of encouragement or inspiration, we all need it. Pen and paper, quick. My telephone number is 076-189-6690. I repeat, a little slower, 076-189-6690. And those of you who are interested in that book I mentioned on the web, email me, spell it out, Dr. D-O-C-T-O-R, Dr. Gabriel, G-A-B-R-I-E-L, Dr. Gabriel at telcomsa.net, and I'll be happy to forward that web address to you. CDs of this program, my friends, and past programs are available from me at the nominal cost of 100 Rand, including shipping. Let me know if you're interested. Also, if you have a group that you'd like me to give a talk to, I'll be happy to do that, and I'll do those talks for free. Till next time, my friends, take care. Keep smiling. From me, Dr. Gabrielides, I bid thee adieu. And don't forget my program tomorrow night on Holistic Health, right here on 1422, the new Pan-Hellenic Voice, from 7 to 8 p.m. Have a good week, my friends. And embrace a friendly universe. Λοιπόν, κυρίες και κύριοι, φίλες και φίλοι, φτάσαμε στο τέλος της εκπομπής μας για σήμερα. Θα είμαι πάλι μαζί σας την επόμενη Δευτέρα, από τις 12 το μεσημέρι μέχρι τις 1 η ώρα το απόγευμα, εδώ στα 1422 μεσαία κείμενα της Νέας Πανελλήνιας Φωνής, με την εκπομπή μας Εσωτερική Φωνή. Όσοι από εσάς θέλετε να με συμβολευτείτε για διάφορες θεραπείες με Natural Medicine, μπορείτε να επικοινωνήσετε μαζί μου στο τηλέφωνο 076 189 6690. Επαναλαμβάνω, 076 189 6690. Επίσης μπορώ να σας προμηθεύσω CDs αυτού του προγράμματος και όλων των προηγουμένων προγραμματών μου. Όπως επίσης δίνω διαλέξεις στην αγγλική για Holistic Health. Αν έχετε ένα group που ενδιαφέρεται για μια τέτοια διάλεξη, μη διστάσετε να επικοινωνήσετε μαζί μου. Οι διαλέξεις μου είναι εντελώς δωρεάν. Αυτά λοιπόν, αγαπητοί μου ακροατές, από μένα τον Δόκτωρα Παναγιώτη Γαβριλίδη. Καλό σας απόγευμα, καλή σας μέρα, καλή σας εβδομάδα και μην ξεχάσετε να με ακούσετε αύριο το βράδυ από τις 7 μέχρι τις 8 που συζητάμε την υγεία μας. Αντίο σας.